All right, welcome back to Can You Survive This podcast? My guest today is an author as well as a psychic medium. Her name is Barbara Bandel. Welcome to the podcast, Barbara.
Hi, welcome, Jeff. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Tell me, this is the first psychic medium I've ever had on the podcast. So, for those listening, what does that mean, and how did you discover that you had this gift, this ability?
Yeah, well, a psychic medium, you have psychics and you have mediums. So a psychic is someone who can hear, feel, see things, and a medium is someone who can talk to the dead, diseased people.
Got it.
And yeah, and I've always had a weird feeling when I was young. I hear this from a lot of other psychic mediums as well, that they didn't feel they didn't belong here. They felt weird, um, the odd duck, so to say. And so when I was 7, I really thought that I was crazy because I discovered when I was 7, me and my best friend, we were interrogated in separate rooms at a police station because the day before we saw a man try to lure us in his truck. So we had to describe the man at the police station. And at the end, the police officer said, "Can you um, I will show you a couple of photos. Can you recognize him? Do you think you will recognize him?" So I looked at the photos, but I had no idea that when I look at a photo, I get all sorts of information about people. I didn't know that. So I was very concentrated because I didn't want to point out the wrong guy. And I saw things and I felt things looking at these photos. And at one point, I also had the first experience that I was looking at the police officer, and at the same time, I was somewhere else. I was standing in the street where this man from the photo, where he lived, I saw his apartment. So I said to the police officer, "I know where he lives." And he said, "Oh, so you know him?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, how do you know where he lives?" And I thought, "Oh, shoot." And it made me feel like I told a lie. That's the way he looked at me. So I, I left and I went outside and I saw my best friend standing there. And I asked her if she felt the same things, if she saw the same things looking at the photos. And she said, "What are you talking about?" She looked at me the same way the police officer did. Then I got really scared because I thought I was insane.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. And
yeah.
so then as you were growing up, um, how did you harness this gift? Is this something that you do readings for other people, or like how do you work with this gift?
Well, I do give readings, but I pushed it away when I was younger. I tried to push it away. I had a normal job. I was a secretary. I got fired everywhere. And it just wasn't meant to be that I had a normal job. So I gave readings to classmates and family members, um, not intentionally, but when they told me, "Oh, I'm gonna see if I can get this job," I immediately felt, "Oh, yes or no." So I would tell them. And then, like friends from friends and their friends, they wanted a reading as well. And I was actually full time giving readings for free because through word of mouth they found me. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make this my profession because it feels so good to give readings. And that's how I became a real psychic medium, not just for fun,
Do
but professionally.
you do you have to be in person with a person with someone to do it, or is it something that you do like over Zoom?
No, it's I have enough looking at a photo or a voice, and I do like to look at somebody. Need to look at somebody or be in the same room. That's not necessary.
And what kind of, so if you just look at someone, are you just automatically getting information about them, or do you have to kind of like allow
Focus.
it to come in?
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times I have to focus. Sometimes it comes without me opening up. It just comes.
Where do you think where does the information come from?
I think from the collective consciousness, the universe. I think it's a combination. And I also believe, but that's my point of view, that we psychics, we do with our brain. So I'm looking at you right now. So we have a gamma vibration going on, a gamma brainwave going on right now.
Hmm.
And because we're focused and concentrated, but with my other half, somewhere in my brain, it's always on the right side, by the way, that I get the information. I go into another brainwave state. That's how I feel, how I think everyone can do this. It's just a matter of learning to, yeah, work two separate brain waves at the same time. And I think they're alpha, the alpha brain wave and theta.
That was going to be another one of my questions is, do you think other people can develop this skill or gift, or do you have to be born
Yeah.
with it? But you think other people can develop it?
Oh, yeah. And around the age of 6, 7, every child is very intuitive and they
Hmm.
say things they cannot know, just like animals. But then people, they teach us to use our common sense and to develop our ego. And then we get a bit lost from our intuition. That's the whole thing. So it's not like develop, it's just remember what you already have and what you used as a child. You as well, everyone. You knew things when you were little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for someone listening who's like completely skeptical, how do
Hmm.
you how do you know that it's real, or is there a way to prove that it's real, or what do you say to people who are skeptical about this kind
Yeah.
of thing?
I think it's good to be skeptical. There are a lot of weirdos out there who claim to be psychics. I always say, let the psychic do the talking because we have connection with your team of guides. So we just information about you. And I get a lot of tests from my clients as well. I give readings, they go like 3 to 5 years into the future. And then they call me after a year and I don't remember them because I get everything I say within a couple of days. And they ask me the same questions. And I give the same answers, of course. And then they say, yeah, you told me exactly the same a while ago. And I'm not testing you, but they are, of course. But they just want to be sure if I say the same. And yeah, I get the same information. So I think that's a good way to know if you're with a good psychic. And in terms of proof, some people you can't prove anything to them, even if I would tell everything that I possibly can't know from A to Z, they would still say, yeah, but you Googled
Mhm.
me or something like that. And that's fine. That's fine.
Are you still taking clients, or do you work with a lot of clients and do a lot of readings?
Yeah, it's my passion. This is my full-time job. It's my passion. And when I am on vacation and after a couple of days, I think, oh gosh, I want to give a reading to someone. Can I just walk up to someone and give a reading? It's just so lovely to do.
So can you tell me like kind of like what is the experience like for you? Like if you started to give me a reading right now and you're looking at my
Hmm.
face and listening to my voice, is it like a sensation, or is it like a audio in your mind, or visual, or some combination, or kind of
It's
what
a
is the experience
combination.
like for you?
Yeah, it's a combination. I hear things, I feel things, I see things, I know things about you. Don't get scared. So I read you, and most of all, I focus and listen to what your guides are saying because they know you best. They know you better than you know yourself.
Hmm. And so the guides
Yeah.
who for someone listening who's just like completely, I try to like, imagine there's someone in the audience who might be very skeptical. What are who are the guides?
Before you were born, you had conversations with a spirit you already know very well from previous lifetimes, and you agree that he or she will guide you your whole life 24/7. And so that's your main guide. We all have one main guide, and then we have help guides. And these are parents, deceased grandparents, friends, a lot of people also from previous lifetimes, but also your ancestors. And you don't know them, but they know you.
So do the guides, okay, I have so many questions about the guides. Do they
Yeah,
know the future, but also can the future change based on your free will and choices you make in life?
you have free will. Of course, you have free will in little things. But the big things, people you are supposed to meet, like who can change your entire life, or the day you're going to die, or the day your children are born. But the little things, you have free will. You do.
So the day you're gonna die, is that like already chosen? Do the guides already know when this is coming?
Yeah. And you chose that date. You set the time frame. You also decided the day you were born, and then the day you're going to die. Because everything works with synchronicity, and you are born with a cluster of souls. So you learn together, good friends, soulmates, can be men, women. And so there's a specific time frame you want to live in, just like all the other time frames in previous lifetimes.
And okay, so this is like getting into like previous lifetimes and almost like reincarnation.
Yeah,
Um, does that mean that so if reincarnation and previous lives are true, is there
yeah,
a point where we choose to not keep coming back and then we go somewhere else?
yeah. You can choose going back to Earth. This is the most difficult planet to learn your lessons. It is. But you can learn your lessons anywhere on other planets, or I call it source energy, where we all return to when we die. And that's where we come from. Yeah,
Is it true that you've had an out of body experience or an NDE?
yeah,
Can you talk about that a little bit?
yeah, of course. And it was during a surgery. And if anyone told me up front that I was going to have a out of body experience, I would just run away. Like, not for me. But I had to undergo a minor but necessary operation for my health. And I was very nervous. I don't like anesthesia. So the nurse said, "Well, I can hold your hand if you want." And I said, "Yes, please." And she did. And I fell asleep. And the next moment, I was out of my body. I could feel that my body was lying underneath me. It was really weird. And the next moment, I was in the dark and I was moving really fast. And I don't know if I was moving fast or that my surrounding was moving and that I was standing still, but it felt like I was moving really fast. And the next moment, I was in a tiny room, a really tiny room. And I knew I wasn't dead and I still had the same thoughts. And I was really curious what was about to happen next. And suddenly there were two women standing on arm's length away from me. And they didn't say, "Oh, we are the mother and the grandmother of the nurse. I just knew. I knew they were the mother and grandmother of the nurse who held my hand. And we didn't open our mouths. We just talked with like telepathy, sorry, telepathy, using our minds. And she wanted me to give information to her daughter. And while she was talking to me, because I didn't say anything back, I was just listening to her. I could feel that on both sides of this little cubicle, there were thousands and thousands of other rooms, like where I was standing. And it's a place where you can meet someone who's deceased. You can meet and talk to them. And I never and I didn't know this until I was standing in this cube. And then I left and I woke up, and that was it. And I remembered everything very well. And I told the nurse, and she was like, wow, because I told specific things that I can know. And I've
And
never met her before.
did was she like kind of blown away? Like, how could you know this kind of
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. And she said, there's one thing in particular you told me that made me believe you. And I said, what's that? And she said that I didn't like the energy of her mother. Her mother was very, I was a bit scared of her. She was very dominant. And she said, you described my mother so well. And that's exactly how my mother was.
Did you did something go wrong during the surgery? Did you actually like did you die during it, or was it the anesthesia that made you have the that made you leave your body? Or not sure?
The doctor said to me afterwards that they wanted to stop the surgery because my blood pressure was really low. It went too low. Um, but the weird thing is when I give a reading and I'm really in that alpha state, I get so cold and I feel that I'm getting so relaxed and I'm getting cold. And so I think my blood pressure goes down as well.
Mhm.
But I'm not a doctor, so maybe it's normal that a blood pressure drops during surgery. I don't know.
So you mentioned the alpha state. That's like a type of brainwave state,
Yeah,
correct? And
yes.
is that I don't know if you would know the answer to this, but is that like the state that people are in when they meditate?
Yeah. When you're relaxed, and then you have the theta state, brainwave state, and that's a more relaxed, like when you're in deep meditation. And that's why reading feels so good to me because I'm gone. My ego is gone. I'm completely relaxed. I can feel everything. I'm gone. I'm there where everything's good, receiving the information. Yeah,
Interesting. And
it's addictive.
do you do you meditate, or you don't really need to because you have this other gift?
Yeah, I do meditate when I want answers for myself because I can't give myself a reading. So I find it sometimes difficult to make decisions for myself. And then I meditate to get the answers. Yeah,
Is it common for you to predict something for a client and then it actually does come true?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot. And people want proof. And I understand because I want proof myself. But the minute things happen, they start to happen, well, then you have a client for life.
So you do have a lot of repeat clients then?
Yeah. And I do this for over 30 years. And you know what the weird thing is that sometimes I have children come for a reading and I predicted them before they were born. That's so weird.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you knew they were coming towards you before they were born.
Yeah, and I described to their parents what they would look like and their personality, and now they're sitting in front of me like young adults. It's pretty weird.
Do you ever kind of like do you ever try to receive any information like for example like before an interview like this? Or are you like, okay, I want to know a little
No,
bit about this?
nothing.
Nothing.
I
Okay.
don't want to know anything because I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. So
The
you've
less I know, the better.
yeah, you've you've written a book about can you talk about your book? When did your book come out and what is it about?
Yeah, it came out in 23, and it's about my most memorable psychic readings. That's the title of the book. And it's about the most beautiful readings, but also the challenging ones, because it's also very difficult sometimes to give readings. And I describe these readings, and it's full of exercises to find out what you really want in life, to make contact, how to make contact with your own spirit guides, with deceased loved ones, and it's full of that.
You talked about a very beautiful reading, and I'm guessing that's in the book. What about, could you talk about a very challenging reading?
Yeah, the challenging readings are with people who think I can fix their life in an hour, or they don't have to do anything, and that the guides will solve everything, or they want evidence when I've given like maybe 10 things I really can know, and they're not common things. They're
Hmm.
really specific. And they say, yeah, well, I wanna, if you can tell me this specific thing, then I'll believe you. But they'll never believe, no matter what I say. So that's challenging. And I'm happy that 99% of my readings aren't like that. So 1% are is very challenging,
Hmm.
and the other 99% are not. It's more aware people. They want to know, what can I do to um, the question, what can I do? I love when people ask me questions like that. What can I do
Like, as in,
to
when the client says, like, what can I do to make
reach
my,
my goals,
yeah,
or and and I notice that the guides love these questions as well.
yeah, yeah. I'm so curious. Like, is there anything you can tell me about me?
Of course, I can. So, I read your energy when we had email contact, and then I went on page and looked at your video so I could see your face. And you're very smart. You like most people, they go in their thinking process, they go from A to B to C to D. You go from A to Z in a split second. And that makes it a bit difficult for you to gear down to explain to people what you mean, because your thinking process is really fast. It's faster than most people. And so I'm listening right now because I'm getting information. So the phase you're in right now, so how young are you?
I'm 36.
You're 30, young, 36. Okay. The phase you're in right now, this started when you were 32. So it's a phase and it will last till 39. And it's the phase where what you really want, because you need to be fed. You are hungry. You are hungry to learn new skills. You are a very good observer. Everywhere you are, in everything, you've done a lot of different things. I can feel that. And you were very observant. How do how do people relate? How does this work? And you want to learn. But there's a voice inside of you that says, okay, but what's my real passion? What's my real passion? And I can tell you what it is, but I don't know if you want to hear.
Oh yeah, I'd love to
Do
hear.
you want to hear?
Please.
Okay. So there will be new technology in the future, and it's not here. Well, maybe the military is working with it, because all new technology starts at the military, with the military. And so it's not really common that we use it, but you're going to use it, and you're going to build a business with it, because it feels to you like, wow, I finally found something that I can um, completely be myself and do everything I want. And it's not completely with holograms, but it has to do with holograms. So you're gonna work with that in a very broad kind of way. And but like they said, my guides, they're working together with your guides right now. You need to be fed, you need to do new things, and that technology will give you that opportunity. So you're gonna build your own business, you're gonna be really successful. I see two friends. No, they're not family, they're friends. And you're gonna work, you're gonna build because you'll be a pioneer in the technology field.
Did you say a pioneer?
Yeah, you're gonna be a pioneer and you love to be a pioneer.
Interesting. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for that. Um, I wonder if,
And
go ahead.
yeah, sorry, because you have to take care of your ankle and your knee because at some point, usually I'm ahead of time, but it's like you need good shoes. Oh, God, I start to sound like your mother. Wear good shoes, but you need, but that's what they're saying. You need to have protection around your ankle and your knee, is something that it's like one of your knees, it's nothing bad or something. It's more like it works harder than your other knee. So the what's the word? You know what I mean? I
Like
don't know. I know the word, but I don't know right now.
the kneecap?
The knee, thank you so much. The kneecap. Yeah. It's working harder than your other knee.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why sometimes it will hurt a little, but it's just a matter of taking good care of it and stop when you feel that it's hurting. Do you already feel this right now?
Um, Not really, no.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I'm ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm
You're
wondering,
welcome.
is there any information that would help me to um sort of be aware or to find this technology sooner, or is it just something that I'll find as I go along, or is there anything that I need to
It will
know?
find you. It will
Okay.
find you because one of the reasons you wanted to be born again is to work with all this new technology. You know, you're a people person, but you're also someone who wants to work alone. You love that and just brainstorm on your own. Um, and you wanted to be born. One of the reasons to work with this, it will find you. You're 36 right now, 37. Yeah. So within 2 years, it will find you.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with me.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
I
have any other questions? I
uh
love getting questions.
yeah, hmm. I do. I'm trying to think of what a good wording is. I think someone emailed some questions in. Can I look at
Oh,
those, or
yeah, of course.
do you need to
No,
see their picture, or okay.
no,
Okay, let me see. Let me
they're
get
only their first name.
Okay, let's see here.
I didn't email them, by the way. The people
Actually,
might think,
I got one. These are from the Instagram account and from the Survive This Pod Instagram. And this is a woman named is the last name. And she says, um, I'm sure she is asked often about new job ventures, and I hate to follow the norm, but I'm interviewing for a job. What that would allow me to travel less, but would lose my seniority with current company I've been with for 25 years. Is this a wise move to make?
it is, it is. So it's closer to where she lives. And that will be so positive in her entire life. So sorry, in every aspect of her life. So yes, it's a very good decision.
Okay, great. So she sent in three questions. So that was the first one. Can I read
Yeah,
them
and I
all?
know her. I gave her a reading, and I love her. She's very sweet. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm gonna do her other two questions just because she sent them in. So let's cover
Oh,
what people
yeah.
are asking. Okay, she says another question is I recently reached out to an attorney to handle a family business matter in which my sister and I feel are being scammed and taken advantage of. I haven't heard
Um,
anything in months and wondering where things may stand with his diving in and investigating.
okay, well, find someone else. And I feel this is what I hear, but if I were her friend, I would say the same thing. If an attorney doesn't follow up after months, goodbye and find someone else. Yeah. Yeah. And she'll find someone. He's quite young. He's a young, hungry pit bull, and she needs that.
Okay,
Good.
great. And she says, a past question would be I recently moved to a small town, met a young girl who we have developed an instant friendship, almost mother daughter like. She is young enough to be my daughter. Were we connected some way in a past life?
I didn't hear the last sentence you said.
Okay, 1 second. Um, I recently moved to a small town, met a young girl who we've developed an instant friendship, almost mother daughter like. She
Mm,
is young enough to be my daughter. Were we connected some way in a past life?
okay. Yeah. The answer is yes. And I hear sisters. That's what I'm hearing, sisters. And one of them was older, the eldest sister in that lifetime. And I want to tell something about when you meet someone and you feel certain emotions, like you have a friend and you feel you want to take care of them, but you have that feeling like from the first day you've met, that's coming from a past life. Or you meet someone and you love that person from the very second you look into their eyes. That's a past life too. So emotions that are very strong are often from past lifetimes. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so those were all of her questions. Um,
Well, that's great. Thanks.
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your gifts and
Yeah. You're
hopefully
welcome.
we had some audience questions that were answered. You answered some of my questions. They can find you on barbarthemedium.com.
Correct.
And is there anything
Yeah.
else that you want to leave us with before we wrap up?
I had a great time with you. I love your energy. I knew it was going to be great. And no, just be kind.
Be kind. Amazing. I love it. Barbara Bandel, thanks for coming on. Can you survive this podcast?